Hey Anthony, I was wondering, how do we use our mind to understand the mysteries of God?
Welcome. Um, well, let's understand what the mind is first. See, our mind is mortal. We can already see in a lot of mental health ailments we go through how our mind can very quickly deteriorate. In other words, for instance, we have Alzheimer's, we have, a lot of diseases, dementia. In all those scenarios, we actually lose our mind even in our lifetime. So that clearly explains how mortal our mind is.
Right.
You see, so if I were to answer this question, let's say in a Christian context, leave Hinduism and Buddhism and all of that aside for now, and let's talk in terms of Christianity. Okay? See, when Adam bargained for his fall, in that bargain, what he attained was a certain knowledge. That's what the translated Bible says. But if you really delve into that mystery, it is not the certain knowledge that he acquired, from the fall. It is actually that perishable mind he acquired. And ever since we have been using our mind to acquire knowledge for our survival. You see? So the mind is it what God created us to operate with? Not really. See, God wanted us to operate and build our lives and serve this universe and serve the humanity and serve Himself, not with our mind, but with our wisdom. You see, so Adam had wisdom before the fall, Adam had mind after the fall. Okay, that's really what the big difference is. See, when we read the Old Testament, there are many times God would call his prophets mortals. He would just tell them, "You mortal," meaning that he was not sort of abusing them or insulting them or anything like that. I don't think so. What he is saying is reminding them, you are operating with your mortal mind. You are trying to listen to me with your mortal mind. You are trying to understand me with your mortal mind. See, you need to understand me. You need to try to comprehend me with your wisdom, not with your mortal mind. Many times in Jonah, Ezekiel, many prophets, he called them mortals. Okay, and that is even in the Old Testament. Jesus says in the New Testament, you are not thinking like God, you are thinking like human beings. And he is saying that to Peter. St. Paul, who actually realized Jesus in his ministry but never met him before. And he says, now we have the mind of Jesus, mind of God. Okay, so the mind of God is actually, it's not even a mind, it's wisdom. See, we as human beings, there is something mortal about us and something immortal about us. See, when we are thinking in terms of mortal, the mortality of us as human beings, our body is mortal. Okay? And every organs we have in our system is mortal. Even the mind we have is mortal. Mind is not coming with us when we die. Okay? Yeah, so everything about the material composition of us as humans are mortals. Now, what is immortal about us? Our life is immortal. Okay? And our soul is immortal. The wisdom we have within us is immortal. See, these are the image and likeness of God that are immortal about us. Everything else came from our parents, and what is created with flesh will perish. What is created with matter will perish. What is created by the immortal would remain immortal always. And that is the image and likeness of God within us. And that includes our soul, the wisdom we have within us, and our life itself. See? So, in other words, if we were to understand the mysteries about God, our mindfulness is not going to take us there. It will create lots of conflicts. That is the reason why we have so many agnostics, we have so many atheists, and so many non-believers, and so many believers who don't know what to do with themselves, because they are confused with their own beliefs. People are dropping out of the church, in an alarming rate. Okay, and all of these are happening because our mindfulness, we are trying to understand God. We are seeking God with our mindfulness. See, we can only see God with our wisdom fully. Now, let me reiterate the word. If you were to really and fully understand God, we need to become mindless. And we need to come into the awareness of our wisdom. And in that wisdom, we will know who God is. We will know exactly who He is. Good question. Thank you for asking me that.
No problem. So just to reiterate, we can't reach that point with our mortal minds because our minds are mortal.
Yeah.
So all we can hope to attain in this lifetime is through wisdom.
Wisdom will take you to God.
Right.
And wisdom never perishes. Wisdom remains with you even after you die.
Got it.
It never goes away.
Okay. I have one more question.
Yeah.
I was wondering, can you talk about consciousness? What is it? I just can't understand it. So.
All right. There is a lot of theories about consciousness. So when you look at the schools of mind, like for instance, philosophy, psychology, mental health, all of these have a different definition about consciousness. And that includes a fully awakened mindfulness. See, when psychologist talks to you about being conscious, he is talking about an alert mind. You see, when a philosopher talks about consciousness, he talks about a thoughtful mind. When a mental health professional, such as a psychiatrist, talks to you about consciousness, he is talking about a healthy, coherent mind. Okay? But the consciousness in spirituality is not even mindfulness, it is in fact mindlessness. Okay? For instance, every particle in the universe, every particle. See, we had just been through COVID. Okay? So let's talk about that COVID virus. You see, the COVID virus is encapsulated with conscious energy. See, that energy knows where it's going, what it's supposed to do. All of that is embedded in it. But is that energy making conscious decisions as to which direction to go, which organ to attack? It doesn't. It just travels. It happens to be in the way. It knows what to do. That awareness, it knows what to do. See, so it's similarly, every particle in our body, is encapsulated with energy or with waves that has intelligence, that knows what to do. When it is presented with a certain scenario, it knows what to do. What to attract, what to reject. It has the intelligence to do that. Okay? Now, so in other words, what I'm trying to say is, there is matter and there is a conscious energy. See, matter, by virtue of it being a matter, can perish, will perish. It has a beginning, therefore it will have an end. Consciousness, on the other hand, is an energy. Even if it creates matters, it does not remain attached to the matter. Once the matter perishes, the energy continues. Okay? And that's the way the energy is. You see, now, if you were to talk in terms of Genesis, Christianity, this is the breath that left our Father in heaven, and created the universe. How it created the universe, it in fact created every particle of the, of every element in the universe. And so every particle is acting according to the will of God, and that will of God translates as the intelligence of that energy. Does it make sense? So that's how every element in the universe is created. Are we created like that? Absolutely. Every cell in our body, every organism in our body, it is meticulously created by that conscious energy. And it brings together and creates our form and creates our perishable elements within us. And there is creation and deterioration and death is constantly going on in the particles that we are. So to our body, life and death is not unusual. To our mind it is, but to our body, no. See, our skins, it grows, it is reborn, it grows, and it perishes in a matter of days. And then it's reborn again. So there is constant, birth and rebirth and everything going on that is within our being itself. See, and the consciousness that is within us, that is encapsulating all of these things, is constantly creating new particles as the old particle perishes. You see? And so that's how active the Holy Spirit is within us. Constant creation and recreation and perishing is going on within us. In other words, when I talk about conscious energy, I'm talking about that energy of the Holy Spirit constantly involved in the creative process and the recreative process within us.
Got it.
Okay? That's what it is. Does our mind have anything to do with it? Absolutely not.
Oh.
You see? So, spirituality is a way of coming into that awareness of that conscious energy. Meaning that wisdom of the Holy Spirit, how it operates within us, how it operates around us, how it operates in the universe, how it operates in the galaxies. See, that creative process, that creative energy that left our Father in heaven, as described in the Genesis, it was not over with Genesis. It is constantly going on, even as we breathe. Constantly going on. And that is the energy, that is the energy of the Holy Spirit. That's what I call consciousness in spirituality. It has absolutely nothing to do with our rational mind.
Okay.
You see, Christianity, teaches us this throughout the Bible about how to connect with God by way of wisdom. Jesus talks about the eternal wellspring that rises up to heaven. See, that means there is eternity there. Do you see that?
Yes.
Something that reaches up to heaven certainly is eternal. And that is coming from within us. He did not say that, to Samaritan woman, it is coming from anywhere else. It doesn't say it is coming from Jacob's well. I will give you the water. The wellspring will come right out of you.
Mm-hmm.
See, when Jesus was talking about then in that parable about the woman who have lost her coins, lost the money, she lit up the lamp and searched within her house, inside her house. She did not go outside and search. She searched within the house. So what she is looking for is inside the house. All she needed was the light of wisdom. And so she found what she was looking for from within her. She found what is eternal, what gives her the eternal joy, eternal happiness, eternal gratefulness is within her. See, that is consciousness. You see, that is the energy of the Holy Spirit who is within us. Can that be realized? Absolutely yes. Many saints did that. Many prophets did that. Jesus showed us how. On many occasions. Good question. Thank you.